Alright, what's up people? Welcome back. So today what I want to do is try to get the front yoke swapped out for the front diff. So I got this thing in. This is a 26 spline 1330 yoke for the front diff. So this thing should work. I believe it'll work. This is part number 246111X. It's like 2-4-6111X is the part number. And we're going to put this thing on today. Try to do that, pull it off. If we can get it on and everything is good to go, then I'm going to start working on putting these axles in. So I showed this in the last video. Got these axles. A little bit of a closer look at it. So I think this is the driver's side. This is the passenger side. I'll have to double check that, verify it, but I kind of forget what they look like when I took the other ones out. But yeah, these things are actually kind of beefy. I feel like they're pretty strong, pretty big for what they should be doing. So I don't think I'm going to have issues with the axles. So I did ask on the other video what people think is going to break first, because I'm honestly anticipating to break stuff pretty quickly here. I'm not confident that this is going to be a great idea, but if it works, it works. If not, I'm sure there's going to be some things to break. But if it's like the diff or whatever it's going to be, quite a few different guesses, whether it be steering linkage, the front diff, the drive shaft. So it's kind of all over the board what we think is actually going to break. So I'm pretty curious to find out myself. And there's got to be like some upgraded four-wheel drive off-roading parts for this thing. This is all stock stuff. So we'll see what happens, what breaks. There's got to be some stronger stuff out there if we really want to pursue this idea. Well, let's get started. I'm trying to put that yoke on, and then if I got enough time, I'm going to try to get these axles in. The puller. All right, so I'm under here now. I think what I'm going to have to do to get to that thing, it's going to be a little tight getting to it from down here. So I think what I might actually do is pull the diff back out. Might seem kind of weird, but now that I'm thinking about this, I remember when I did take the axles and everything out, I did have to, just to get the differential out of there, I had to take, this whole front assembly apart, slide the spindle off just to get the axle out, and then drop the diff down. So I'm gonna have to probably do the same thing to get everything back together. So I might as well take the diff down. That way I can have access to the yoke, put it on, and then when I put everything back in, I can do the opposite of how I took it out. So what I did was I'll do the opposite of take this one out, drop the diff down, take this axle out. I'll do the opposite, put the axle in, put the diff in, and then I'll slide this axle in with this whole spindle assembly off. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So I guess I'm going to go with that. Alright, so we're starting to get this, starting to drop nuts. What I want to make sure that I do for possibly though is drop this thing right on my face. Alrighty, got the puller set up here. We're gonna try to zip it off. Carefully with the impact. There we go. So that guy came right off. So I'm just gonna match it up with the other one. In Houston, we may have a problem. It's not the right diameter. Looks like it's the right spline count. but I just don't know if it will seal. So that sucks. So you can see around the edge, there's like a big old gap in there. So that sucks. Well, guys, now I'm not sure what to do. All right, guys, so we may have to go back to the drawing board a little bit on this one. So did a little bit more research looking at this thing. Here is the difference between the two. So this one is like a 1.556 or 562, something like that, 1.5 something. And this is a 1.8. So this is actually quite a bit different. And what I did see looking around is that they have a U-bolt conversion style. So I think there's a conversion that has a different seal in it when you add the U-bolt. So I've been looking for the different style yoke that has this size, but they all have the narrower hub with the U-bolt conversion. So what I'm trying to do now is find a U-bolt conversion style seal that's going to work for this thing. Worst case, I guess, I could probably just go with the 1344 to 1310 U-joint, and then, which I might do temporarily, and then just use the factory yoke on there with the 1310 U-joint. But what my issue is right now is I can't find the conversion U-joint that is non-greasable. So if I could find one that was like 20 bucks, I would probably just go with that and then run the 1310 yoke on there, and hopefully it would last. So I don't know what exactly I want to do right now. I got a couple part numbers. I'm probably going to go back to O'Reilly's, because if this isn't going to work, I'll just return it and try to find something else. But I do have a couple part numbers for the seals. So this is like a 1.8 something inner diameter. And then I did find some, but they all have different outer diameters. So I'm trying to find one that is the right size for this thing, that's going to work with this. But for simplicity, I may just use this yoke and get a different U-joint until I find the right setup. So there are some conversion sets out there. I did send an email out to Spicer and ask them. Spicer is the company that makes the yoke and the U-joint that I'm using. I did send an email out to them to see what they have to say, if I need to get a different yoke or what's going to work with this thing. So I will keep you guys updated. Kind of a crappy day. We have to adjust and we'll figure it out, and I'll show you guys later something, I promise. Have a good one.